There's something about this year. There's something about this 2025 that's very different. It's very, very different. And everyone that I talk to, and I'm out there, I got my feet out there on the road. You know what I mean? The last couple of years I spent more so isolated because I've been dealing with a lot of healing and a lot of building. But now I'm back out there and I'm talking to people and I'm touching people and I'm having conversations and I'm having a lot of different conversations with strangers. And there's a common theme with this 2025. This 2025 ain't playing around with you. The common theme is transformation. Everyone is going through something transformational. You listening to this right now, you're going through a season of change. You're going through a season of transformation. Now, whether you're going with it and you're rising to this season, or are you resistant? Are you being resistant to the things that you're being called to do? Because there is something going on in this 2025 that is forcing us to take a deeper look in the mirror. And the longer we ignore that nudge and that pull, the more we'll find ourselves in chaotic situations. There's something about this 2025. What's happening, family? It is your girl, P. Welcome back to Keeping It P, where we have real, raw, authentic conversations. This is episode 4, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys. I know we're not dropping the episodes weekly yet because we're still working through the flow, but we're about to pick it up. The other night I came in here, y'all. I came in here and I stayed in the studio for 5 hours and I could not get anything off my chest. I couldn't get anything. I was stuck. It's like I came in here, I sat in this chair and I got behind this mic and it's like I automatically forgot who I was. I forgot what my purpose was. I felt like I didn't even know myself. And in that moment, that night, I should say, this was 2 nights ago. That night, when I was in that void, I had the biggest epiphany. And I was pissed. I was really, really angry because, like I told you guys before, it takes a while to set this podcast up. It takes a while to get everything set up, to get the lighting nice and perfect, to get the sound quality good, to get the angle good. And I'm still just by myself, which I do like. That is not a complaint. But I had an epiphany, a big epiphany. And it haunted me, because I kept the same routine that I have when I come in here. I pray. It's not as structured. I don't have a script. There's things on my heart that I want to discuss, of course. But for the most part, this is something for me that I am allowing the divine to guide and lead the conversation, because this is not just for me. This is really for us. This is for you. This is not what we want to hear. This is what we need to hear. And my only hope and my only intention is that every pod that you log on, you click on, and you spend your time listening with me, that I say something that resonates deeply with you, that shifts something inside of you. I say something that you needed to hear in the moment that can change a perspective for you. That's what this is all about. So I had the epiphany. And I had like a breakthrough in my thought process. And I was upset because I'm like, I prayed. You know what I mean? I prayed. I did my thing. I put my song on. I tried to get into my groove, and I sat behind this mic. I sat in this room for 5 hours and could not get anything off. And I was upset, and I found myself not only being frustrated with myself, but being frustrated with God, because I'm trusting God in this process. I'm trusting God to lead me in this process. And he left me hanging. He, she, they, them, however, left me hanging, gave me nothing. But at the same time, after I was able to reflect upon that night, it gave me everything, because I woke up the next morning with my flames lit. I woke up the next morning fired up. I woke up the next morning and found myself doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, avoiding the distractions, not touching my phone, going and work out, reading my book, journaling, meditating. And I realized within myself that I'm not even being consistent. Now I'm doing my things. I'm in my bag now. But I'm not as militant as I should be and as I could be. But I realized through that I found the epiphany that I ultimately had was that I was disconnected from myself. I felt so disconnected from myself. And with that, the negative thoughts crept in. The negative thoughts crept in. And I started asking myself, is this even something that I'm equipped to do? Can I even do this? Am I even truly ready for this if I'm not able to perform when it's time to perform? And it weighed on me. It weighed so heavy on me. But again, that night to me felt like failure. It felt like I failed. But one thing I realized is that you have to fail in order to succeed. Failing is a part of the process of succeeding. So I say that to say this. How connected are you to yourself? How connected are you to your intuition? Because while we're talking about having that strong relationship and connection with God, we were created in the image of God. So our relationship with God can't be that strong if our relationship with ourself is not that strong. And this is a really good thought process that I stumbled upon. It's a really good checkpoint. It's a really good question to reflect upon. When you're going through something, when things arise in your day, when something comes in and messes up the plans that you had, it's a really good question to stop and reflect and ask yourself if what you're doing in that current time, in the current moment, in this current season, is it connected? How connected are you, to your soul, to your essence? We call that alignment. Sometimes we gonna get derailed, we gonna get off track. But if we stop and ask ourselves, yo, am I connected to myself right now? Can I hear my intuition? Can I hear God's voice? Am I connected to my purpose? Am I connected to my passions? Or am I connected to other people's opinions? Am I solely connected to the responsibilities that I have to other people, to my job? It's a really good place, a really good check. There's something about this 2025. There's something about this 2025 where it just feels like the mask has to come off. At least when you looking in the mirror. When you looking in the mirror, it's time to see yourself. It's time to really see yourself. It's time to really see the shit that you have been ignoring. It's time to see the ways in which you no longer show up for yourself. It's time to see the ways in which you aren't choosing you and you're putting other things and other people above you. It's time to see that what you're choosing is not aligned with your soul, with your essence. It's time to truly see yourself. It's time to take the mask off. We wear different masks. Different people may experience us in a different way. You wear one mask when you go to work. You wear one mask in front of your children. You wear another mask in front of your spouse or your partner. You wear another mask in front of your best friend. But when you look in that mirror, are you wearing a mask? What mask are you wearing when you truly look in that mirror? Can you see yourself? Can you see all of your shit? Can you see your blind spots? It's really hard to see the picture while you're standing in the frame. This is why it's so important to be silent. This is why it's so important to spend time alone. This is why it's so important to follow those 7 pillars we talked about in episode 2. Time in nature, because everything around us serves as distraction. So if we don't set that intentional time to come back to ourselves, to check in with ourselves, to slow things down, so we can really realize where we going, where we headed. Is it intentional? Am I on an intentional path? Because every single one of us came into this world with a gift. We are all one of ones. We are all rare. We were all created and designed perfectly. But yet we go our entire lives looking and searching for fulfillment. And we think that it can come through money. We think that it can come through relationships with others. We think that it can come through status. We think that it can come through the material things. We think it comes through likes on social media and views, clout. But if you don't address the motherfucker looking back at you in the mirror for real, this 2025 gonna wake you up if it haven't already. This 2025 ain't nothing to play with. It's time to take the mask off. At least when you standing in the mirror and you looking back at yourself. Some people are afraid to look into the mirror. And it can be scary. It can be a scary thing. But I challenge you tonight before you go to bed, get in your bathroom, get fully undressed, and look in the mirror. Stare at yourself. What comes up? What things have you suppressed in your life that you haven't handled, you haven't dealt with, you haven't faced? What emotions? What feelings? What are you continuing to choose in your life that no longer serves you? It's time for it to go. How are you showing up for yourself? I'm not playing around. I'm serious. And I know y'all feel this. Because like I said, everybody that I'm talking to is feeling the wrath of 2025. Spring coming up. It's harvest season. We about to reap what we've sown. What have you sown? My favorite rapper said, karma is a bitch but just make sure that bitch is beautiful. This 2025 not playing with you, man. It's not playing with us. It's not playing with us. When I used to work at AT&T, I worked with AT&T for 6 years. I was in management, all of that. We used to have this little blue book. Well, they probably still do have it. Shout out to AT&T. This little blue book, and it was like the AT&T Bible, and it was called the 5 Key Behaviors. And in that had 5 things that we used to teach the front lines, the staff, the team, the customer-facing staff, that they had to hit the mark of those 5 key behaviors with every single customer. And if we, as a manager, were to do an observation on them, side by side, we call it side by sides observation, which, as I think about it, it's just a crazy concept to be sitting next to somebody while they doing their job with a form, checking everything they doing is quite crazy. But that's how it went. That's how it went down. We would have to do these observations as managers. And you basically mark them on, are they following the 5 key behaviors? And I'm not going to go through all the 5 key behaviors because I believe that's still a thing for AT&T. I'm sure it is. It's like embedded in their customer experience, man. So I'm not going to go giving out their 5 key behaviors, but it was 5 key behaviors that had to be executed with every customer interaction. And for some reason, like the last couple of days, those 5 key behaviors just kept popping up in my mind. And, you know, we used to drill those 5 keys into every conversation, every meeting, every huddle. Like, we surrounded the whole culture around the 5 key behaviors. I think that it's important that we have 5 key behaviors, 5 non-negotiables for our own lives. A commitment, a contract, an agreement, if you will, with yourself that you will uphold for you, that helps you stay aligned, you stay focused, and you stay on the track that you're supposed to be on. What would your 5 key behaviors be? Now, it looks different, you know. It's going to look different for everybody, of course. But these 5 keys, we can call them the 5 keys. It should serve as a checklist for you that you can run through, go through in any moment, in any situation, and ask yourself, how aligned is this with my 5 keys? That could reroute you and bring you back on track, because we're going to get off track. But it's important that we got something in place to bring our ass right back to where we need to be. Because sometimes when we off track, we got to learn some lessons. We got to learn some lessons, man. And if you listening to this right now and your life ain't going the way you want it to go, you're not happy, you got a lot of obstacles in your way, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing? If my soul was out my body watching me operate, would my soul, my essence, my spirit be proud of me for the things that I'm doing, the decisions that I'm making, the path that I'm headed on? Am I truly living a life that is fulfilling to me? And if the answer is no, then the next question is, how can I get on track? How can I get on track? What 5 keys can I implement? I'm gonna tell you a couple of the things that are my 5 keys. Now, I haven't made this list official yet. I'm gonna have to make an official list for sure. But there are things that I'm realizing in this season are non-negotiables for me. Because for too long in my life have I been pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. I'm a pourer. I'm a nurturer. I'm a protector. I like to leave everything that I touch better than when I got to it. I like to impact every conversation. I like to bless every situation that I'm a part of. And I often have the mindset of what can I do for someone else? How can I serve someone else? Way before I think about serving myself. But one of those 5 keys for sure for me would be attitude. An attitude of gratitude all day long. An attitude of gratitude because there's always, no matter what's going on, there's always something that you can be grateful for. An attitude of gratitude, that's one of my keys. And then also your attitude determines your altitude. Don't be that person that's just always got a bad attitude. Don't nobody want to be around nobody with no bad attitude. Them type of people don't even want to be around themselves. So if you don't know where to start with your keys, take that one. Because your attitude is a great place to begin. Oftentimes, attitude is a determining factor of where you will end up and how you will experience things. Because life gon' life. Make no mistake, life gon' life. There's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs, there's gonna be highs, there's gonna be lows. What comes up, what goes up, must come down. That's a fact. So when you up or when you down, what's your attitude gonna be like? An attitude of gratitude. Because when you show up grateful, and not just no fake ass gratitude, I'm talking you grateful in your heart, God gonna put more things in your path for you to be grateful for. Because the universe don't give you what you want. The universe give you what you are. Life is a big ass mirror. And everything that you experience around you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So attitude of gratitude, and remember your attitude determines your altitude. That's one of my 5 keys. I'm making that one official right now. One of my 5 keys is my attitude. Y'all let me know in the comments what your 5 keys are. Reflect upon that. Think about that. And just in case you missed it, if you already missed it, after you do that mirror activity that I challenge you to do, go stand in front of that mirror butt naked and look yourself in the eyes and ask yourself, what am I choosing that no longer serves me? What am I turning a blind eye to? What work do I need to do? It's about you. It's you versus you. Ain't nobody standing in your way. You standing in your own way. Take that mask off. Don't go to bed with no mask on, lying to yourself about your situation. Take that mask off. Because this 2025 got something for us. and we shall reap what we sow. I'm piped up for the year, though. I'm piped up for this year. I'm excited for this year. I'm really excited for this year to see what this year has in store, but I know we all feeling it. I know we all feeling the energy that's in the year of this year. And we cannot run around doing the same shit we was doing back in 2022, 3, 4. We can't. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And it's like either we're gonna choose to grow and evolve, or we're gonna run into these roadblocks that's going to force us to grow and evolve. You feel me? It's either you make the decision to look in the mirror and address the shit that you need to address so you can get to where you're going, or else life gonna slap your ass. Real talk. And you may already be feeling that. Life may already be on your ass. You may already be feeling that. But you may just be looking at other people or looking at your situation from the wrong perspective. You may be looking at your situation as in you're powerless. You're not powerless. You're powerful. But it's just where you putting your power, where you giving your power away. We go our entire lives looking for fulfillment, and we think that fulfillment comes through all of these different things. Money, status. But yet still there's so many people that are billionaires, that are millionaires, and they end their lives. That must tell us something. That must tell us something about internal battles. We can only buy so many things. We can't go around ignoring our internal. We got to heal from the inside out, not the outside in, because the outside shit is temporary. You still got you take you with you everywhere you go. You take you with you everywhere you go. So you might as well do the work. You might as well really start paying attention to yourself, because you're the greatest thing that you will ever work on. So if you find yourself putting Band-Aids on the wounds, or choosing to use other things as crutches to cover up how you really feeling, it's time to look in the mirror. It's time to look in the mirror, and it's about you. It's for you. But one thing I know for a fact is 2025 ain't come to play with nobody. Ain't come to play with nobody. Let's get serious. Let's get serious about ourselves now. Real talk. What are your 5 keys? I want to hear them in the comments. Your 5 non-negotiables that's going to help you get on track. Because we can't have a strong relationship with God if we don't have a strong relationship with ourselves. We can't attract our desires. We can't manifest. And we can't create unless we are connected with ourselves. That's the number one relationship you gotta have in this world. a relationship with yourself. What is that relationship like? I encourage you to take some notes here. I encourage you to feel through this podcast, feel through this episode, man. Feel me. I encourage you to go in that mirror, strip down, and feel yourself. Feel your essence. Connect to yourself. And identify what are you choosing that no longer serves you. Identify what have you suppressed. Those emotions that you've suppressed, those traumatic things that you suppressed that you don't want to talk about, that you buried deep down inside of you. You think you buried it. You think it's not affecting you, but it's trickling into everything that you do. It's trickling on to your relationships. You may be walking around with this chip on your shoulder, walking around with a bad attitude, taking it out on your kids, taking it out on your partner. It's time to take the mask off. This 2025 is not playing with us. It's been real. It's been love. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, for rocking with me. We on episode 4. We just getting this thing started. We still crafting it up. Y'all. But this is a pod for the soul. This is the pod for the soul, man. This ain't what you want to hear. This is what you need to hear. And if you think you knew me, you don't know me. But you're going to get to know me. You feel me? I love you guys so much. Thank you for allowing me this space. This is so dope. This is dope. But my intention here is to create a space where we can just be real. We can be real about what we doing, how we doing it, where we going, and we can elevate together. We can grow together. There's nothing stopping us from creating that. All we gotta do is show up. But when you show up, you're gonna get some. You're gonna get something out of this. Especially if you get in that journal. It's not enough to feel great while you listening to it. It's not enough to be like, oh yeah, P spitting. Yeah, P spitting. Yeah. But that's not enough. But when this video ends, then what? It's time for real change. It's time for real elevation. You're one of one. Imagine that. You're one of one. It's time to rise up. It's time to free yourself. It's been real. Peace. Get him black. Get him black. Get him black. Oh my God. You know, that interruption was crazy. I had to holler at them about that shit.